right, it's Saturday, so you know what that means. It's the half hour with me, Aaron McLean, and my co-host as usual. Oh, hey, it's Chase. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, doing good. I hope you are.
I'm hanging in there. I had a wild week. I've had some health issues this week, which boo, but
Ah,
it's okay. Doctors gave me that good, and I'm up and at it and ready to talk with you folks. We have a special guest with us today. It's Jenna the Craft Witch. Welcome to the show.
Hey guys, I don't know what's happening with my screen. Can you see me or is
I
it black?
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I can see
Oh,
you.
you can see me? Okay, on my end it's
yeah.
black, but
Oh my gosh. It's that retrograde you spoke of.
it
The
is.
stars are causing havoc with communications, as I've been told. I'm excited though to chat with you because you like horror movies, you like spooky stuff, and you have a shop that just brings the best out of all those cool spooky elements. Um, tell our audience a little bit about yourself, a little about your shop, what the Craft Witch does, what the Craft Witch is about, please.
Yeah, for sure. My name is Jenna. I'm the owner of the Craft Witch. Right now it's just me who runs everything. Everything is handmade by myself, and I get all my my fabric custom printed, and I design and create everything from there. So I'll get fabric in like you would at like Fabricland, and the rest is history. But it's really exciting. It's something different. Usually you can find this stuff on like online, like Amazon, but the quality is not the same. And that's something that I wanted to um, change because I like quality. I like things that last a long time, and that's what I create. So everything's inclusive. I have sizes up to 6L for men. I have sizes up to 3XL, and I can custom make pretty much everything.
That's awesome. And I
Awesome,
didn't realize it
awesome.
was all handmade. That is a lot
Yeah,
of work, a lot of talent goes into that.
it is
But
a lot of work.
that's like custom tailoring. I mean, what an incredible product and service to offer because a lot of people they don't even realize where their clothes come from. I mean,
It's true.
you
Like
know,
if you need it shorter, you need it longer, anything. I can pretty much do anything with this
That's
stuff.
awesome.
that that's amazing. So we wanted to have you on because as you know your clothing and your products they often you did a whole line of slashers, killers, horror infused, but one of the ones that keeps popping up is that carpet right there. And it's one of the most iconic patterns in the history of horror. That's right. It's the Shining. It's the carpet from the Overlook Hotel. And it is immediately recognizable. It's one of those amazing patterns that's just such a subtle way to infuse, like, oh, I know what that is, into anything you do, anything you make. If you use that pattern, people are going to be excited about the Shining. When you did your Shining inspired line. What about the Shining spoke to you? What about that carpet patterns? Normally, carpet patterns, people are like, gross. But why does this one stick? Why is this one so dang good? Why do you like?
Oh, yeah, this one, well, The Shining is pretty special to me. Like my aunt introduced it to me like at a way too young age. But it's just something that always stuck in my mind, and I'm like, I want to wear it. I don't know. I just like I need to wear it. It's so loud and vibrant, and I usually wear all black, so it says a lot. But I'm like, I need to make clothing out of this. It's just so in your face, but it's subtle enough because my grandma used to be like, "Oh, I really like that print. It's kind of retro." But like, I mean, it was made in I think 1965 by David Hicks, and he's a genius. Like he did both of those carpets in The Shining, the one in room 237 and the hallway, which is this one.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's amazing. I mean, and his son who let me use it is equally as amazing, but he's a big horror fan too.
So you got permission to use the carpet, to use the print?
Yes, I did.
That's awesome. Was that hard? Did it take a while? Like, was it a lot of emails to
No.
ghosts and then you get one back?
This one was really easy, which is weird because to get any like it's not I'm not officially licensed, but I have permission to use. So to get officially licensed, it's a lot more, and
Insane.
it's
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's a lot of people don't understand, but no, Ashley Hicks was really nice to talk to, and yeah, he had really no questions. He's like, go for it.
Well,
Wow.
and that's the coolest thing about it. I mean, as somebody who loves IP and things like that, I know how hard it is to be afraid that somebody's gonna knock with a cease and desist. But the fact that somebody said, "Yeah, use it," that's awesome. Was so cool. It does hit all the notes of our favorite colors in the horror, the black, orange, and red. Like, yes, please.
You can't go wrong.
The original Shining, we talked a little bit about last week. It is one of the most lauded horror films ever made. The Stanley Kubrick classic, just one of the best horror films. Loosely based on a Stephen King novel, which is also a fantastic novel. But the movie itself is just incredible. It's one of the first films to ever use Steadicam, which blew my mind, considering that cameras back then were like 50 or 60 pounds. So you meet a Steadicam operator from that era, and they have this like one gigantic monster arm. Nowadays, cameras are like 20 pounds, even lighter. I mean, if you hook a DSLR up to it, it's feathers compared to what they were running with back then. That's awesome that what age were you exposed to The Shining? When did you first watch it?
I believe I was 9.
Ah,
10.
so you were like,
I was a 90s kid, so really,
yeah.
way too early.
That's just a rough one too. It's spooky. How did do you remember how you reacted to it? Were you scared?
It wasn't as well. It wasn't the first horror movie I saw. The first one my dad let me watch, Child's Play, and I was 8, so I was like scarred from there. Nothing could compare to that movie at that age.
Which is awesome because you just released a line of Child's Play inspired clothing also on your website.
I did. That one I'm really excited about, but they're all exciting and cool, but yeah, this one had to be the first one. Everyone knows it, and it's pretty unisex too. Like, the guys love it. Every time I bring it to a convention, they're like, "Oh, what is that? That's from The Shining. That's so cool." So it just gives a lot of excitement and reassures me that, yeah, I'm on the right track for it.
That's awesome. Chase, when was the first time you saw The Shining?
I was a teenager. Again, it was one of those, I think I just saw it on TV, didn't really process it. It was probably when I was in my late teens, probably 19, is when I actually sat down, watched it, and kind of really got to process it and just kind of really truly experience the film. And I think it's one of, regardless of genres, one of the greatest films ever made. Mm-hmm. We talked about it last week, terrible adaptation. It's a terrible adaptation, but as a horror film, it's amazing.
yeah. Stanley Kubrick really did bring it out. And I saw this, the first rated R movie that my parents let me see. I begged them because they were very strict about when I could see what. And I begged them, I want to see a rated R movie, and they said, "Sure, go ahead." So the first one I got was The Exorcist, and scared the shit out of me. I was like 12, and then immediately I wanted to see The Shining, and The Shining stayed with me. I mean, when they get inside room 237, that is nightmare fuel. When Wendy's running around getting chased by the ghosts and seeing all the horrible things that she sees, it's like terrifying. That sticks with me forever. And I've always been a big fan. This is the first movie I watched with my wife when we first started dating. I was like, "We're watching The Shining." Yeah. She had never seen it before. And, she has, at first she was like, "This is terrifying and really creepy," but now she likes it. We watch it quite a bit. The Shining as a movie, I don't know. I love it, but I'm a huge Kubrick fan. He's potentially my favorite director. Total jackass, but makes good movies. This movie came out and surprisingly was very controversial, or maybe not surprising. I mean, obviously, as you said, fans of the book were like, "Not my book, not my Shining," immediately. Stanley Kubrick's nominated for a Razzie for this. Shelley Duvall nominated for a Razzie for this,
which they just recently rescinded because
in 2022,
because of the stuff that has came out about the way she was treated and kind of mentally tortured by Kubrick through it. So they rightfully rescinded the Razzie, but still, fuck you guys for doing that.
Yeah, the Razzies have always been one of those things on the surface. It's just a fun way to poke fun at movies. But the guy
Yeah.
who created him is a jackass as well. I mean, he's one of these people who continually just wants to harass people. And so the Razzies are kind of in a weird place. Whereas, like, one hand, it's like, yeah, why can't we make fun of ourselves? That is I'm not against the idea, but at the same time, like, how you do it is important. And you can't
nominating a child, like an
Yeah.
8-year-old child.
yeah.
What else? They nominated a bunch of times Bruce Willis, and when it came out that it was around the time that he was battling dementia, all of a sudden, then they rescinded it. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
I guess a little mean-spirited.
The scene where Wendy is like, give me the bat, and she's swinging the bat, Jack Nicholson, 127 takes. Just
You can tell she's like exhausted in that scene. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think she delivers an incredible performance. I think Shelley Duvall is one of those great actresses that never got her due, but she brings it out for this film. Jack Torrance, played by Jack Nicholson, what a insanity of a performance. That guy's batshit crazy. Scatman Crothers. I love Scatman Crothers. He plays the old chef. Hey, Doc, you like ice cream? When this movie comes out, when you watch this movie,
actually,
Jenna,
I have a fun fact about Scatman Crothers as Dick
Hit me with
Halloran.
it.
Originally, that was not supposed to have been Scatman Crothers. Originally, it was supposed to have been a rodeo performer and actor who goes under the stage name Slim Pickens, who had worked with Stanley Kubrick for Dr. Strangelove. When Stanley Kubrick offered him the role, he pretty much he knew what Stanley Kubrick was about and was like, yeah, he was like, I would take the role, but if it doesn't take my scenes to take over 100 takes, I don't want to have to do 100 takes. And Stanley Kubrick was like, no. So that's how Scatman Crothers got the role.
Wow.
Man. Wow. What are some of your favorite moments in this film, Jenna? When you get into The Shining, when you watch the first one, what are the parts that you're looking forward to seeing again and again?
The blood coming out of the elevator. I love that scene. It's just so, like, how do they do it? That's how I want to know. I'm like,
miniatures.
Really?
It's a perfectly made miniature. And when I say miniature, the chair's like this big. It's I think a 1/6 scale. So it's smaller than a regular, like I said, chair's about that big, but it was done so faithfully, and they do such a good job of always cutting back to when he first sees the elevators, they use the miniature. So they're establishing that scale from the POV at the beginning. It's so smart. And then when they pour the blood out, it's, I think it was 500 gallons
wow,
spilling down the hallway.
That's really cool. I had no idea. Thank you for that fact.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, it's one of my favorite scenes, and and it's shown a few times, which is nice. That and the bathtub scene, she's just so creepy, the old lady. But it's just so, you can't not look at her.
You can't.
So
no.
Yeah.
And the art deco in that room always gets me, where I'm like, yeah, the hotel as a character itself is incredible. The design of it is incredible. The exterior of the hotel is a real hotel called the Stanley Hotel. And it's on the top of Mount Hood, and it's in Oregon.
It is, yes.
Yes, it's in Oregon. I've been there. You ride a chairlift up to the top, you see it, and you go, oh man, it's The Shining, so cool. And then you go inside and you are immediately disappointed because the inside is a soundstage in London, and the inside of the Stanley Hotel is just, it looks like a moose lodge inside. It's all antlers and it's all like hunter decor. It has none of the Art Deco, none of the Native American influences that the Shining Hotel, the Overlook, took. And you're just kind of like, well, I'll just stay outside and admire how cool this building is. So yeah, the exterior is a real place, and it's so freaking cool. You can go there to this day, but you will step inside and be disappointed. Brilliant stuff. The inside was all soundstage based, and a brilliant design, Art Deco and American Northwest Native American influences across the board. Really, really cool stuff. one of the things that I have mentioned in the past is they shot this at the sound stages, the same sound stages that Star Wars was at and the Muppet movie was at. And while they're filming this, I said this last week, they could hear the Muppets singing through the walls. And Stanley Kubrick would get super annoyed, but then like he'd go and like Miss Piggy would be like, "Oh, just one more take, please," and they'd be like, "All right, fine." And you can find pictures of Danny Torrance hanging out with Kermit the Frog, which is just hysterical to me.
Oh, that's funny. Good relief for the kids, but
Yeah.
Right.
like it's such
After
a dark
seeing
movie.
probably the most traumatizing things he's probably ever seen in his life.
He plays Danny really good because he's just, I was saying to my husband, we were rewatching everything this week, and I'm like, he's so creepy. Like, how did
Yeah.
he do that at such a young age?
So one of the things that I read is they never told him what movie he was making. The scenes
Okay.
with Jack Torrance, they basically treated it as a family drama, and they're intense, but he didn't see the movie till he was 17, that actor, which
Really?
is, yeah, what a long time. It's like he showed up to the red carpet and then left. They didn't even bring him inside. So he didn't know he was making a ghost movie. He just like, and a lot of the stuff, and like a lot of the stuff that you see with him is separated from the stuff that you think he's exposed to. The scene with the sisters, he sees the twins, but then when it cuts back to his reaction, he's tweaking out, was shot later to get to isolate those key shots. And it's smart, and it's the way, you know, working with kids is so random because you can barely get them to focus long enough to get that, but it's like the way it was edited and the way it's all put together is brilliant, because you know you buy that this kid is traumatized.
Oh
And
yeah,
the
you would
crazy
never
thing-
think otherwise.
The crazy thing is he's only done, out of his entire career, only done 3 projects.
What
this was
do
his
you
very
have any of
first.
the other ones he did? Do you
Yeah,
know?
so he did a made-for-television movie called Will G. Gordon Liddy after The Shining in 1982.
Okay.
Retired, and then he didn't do anything again until a cameo role in Doctor Sleep.
That's
Oh
a huge gap.
Right.
man,
And he hasn't done anything since. So
Wow.
that
That's a
is-
shame. He's pretty talented.
yeah.
I think he did a great job. So a couple of things about the movie that I always like to share. I took an entire class on Stanley Kubrick, and this movie we spent a lot of time on. And some of the stuff that's so interesting is how the crux of the movie, the only time they ever explain why this is happening, it's a wide shot, and the manager of the hotel is walking Wendy and Danny to the maze when they just arrive, and they say when they built the hotel, it's built on Native American burial ground, and they had to fend off attacks while building it. It is such a throwaway line if you're not paying attention, because it's a wide shot, them outside walking. He says it. That's why the movie's haunted. That's why the hotel's haunted. That's such an important line. But Stanley Kubrick was like, I didn't want to dwell in the reasons why. So it's done as this large scope, just showing the stolen land. The whole thing is about stolen land. And then there's a moment when they're inside the freezer. Hey kid, hey Doc, you want some ice cream? Scatman Crothers, Danny Torrance, they're standing there talking, and when he offers him ice cream and he talks to him about The Shining through his head, behind him there's all these cans of Calumet baking powder, and the logo on a Calumet baking powder can is a Native American with the headdress with a peace pipe. It is a peace offering that Dick Halloran is offering Danny Torrance.
Oh, wow.
When when Wendy throws him into the freezer and locks him in that very same freezer, he crashes through the Calumet baking soda cans, and they're spilled all over the ground. The peace has been broken. The peace offering is broken. Now the ghosts are angry. And the whole thing
Okay.
is that and I always thought that was such like, you're like, yeah, but that's just him falling through cans. And they're like, no, Kubrick is that specific, that it is symbolic. Every single piece of this is symbolic. And I was always just like, that's too much, man. But interesting nonetheless. Can we all agree that Scatman Crothers' choice of decorating is also phenomenal? His house is full of just beautiful naked women plastered
Yeah.
up and framed, framed posters. I'm just
I'm like,
like,
where did you get that?
oh my gosh. It always cracks me up when he's just lying in bed and he's like thinking about Danny and he's sensing this, and then the camera pulls out. It's just surrounded by like just tasteful dudes.
Yeah.
Way to go, Scatman Crothers. You do you. I love your decorating. Obviously not bringing Mama home too often. Hysterical stuff. For this movie, have you read the book, Jenna?
No, I haven't.
No worries. It's completely different. It is
I know. I watched the miniseries and I've heard that it's like pretty similar to the book. So
we can move on to that. How do you feel about that miniseries? When you watched it, were you like, cool, or were you like, eh?
I have appreciation for it.
Yeah.
As like, okay, this is definitely explaining some things. It's actually like humanizing Jack Torrance. He's not in The Shining, like the 1980. I feel like he's not very likable, but in the
Yeah.
miniseries, I'm like, okay, I kind of enjoy seeing him and like he's a person. So
Yeah.
that's definitely something that I enjoyed over it. The backstory, I mean, it was a little slow in my opinion, but it has its own, its own, I guess. But disappointing if you like seeing like the carpet and those things that
Yeah, right.
that are different. But no, I overall enjoyed it, I guess.
It's fun to go
Funny
back to the
thing-
Overlook.
Funny thing is about where you're talking about Jack Nicholson. Stephen King hated that Jack Nicholson was cast in the 1980 version because
Really?
he said that people have already seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest and they would already assume Jack Nicholson's going to play a psychotic role. He wanted someone more tame and kind of more kind of more stoic, someone like John Voight to play
Right.
Jack
Interesting.
Torrance.
Yeah, that
Interesting.
makes sense.
Well, one of the things that's always fascinating about the descent into madness of Jack Torrance in the miniseries, Jack becomes possessed by the house.
Yeah.
Whereas in this Kubrick movie, he's already broken. He's just hiding it well. The violence is already in him. And the hotel is kind of like a steroids that just kind of let him, embrace that inner demon that's inside of him, the alcoholism, the abuse that he's already shown that he is capable of. It then expands on it and gives him an echo chamber to just go crazy in. But the miniseries is very much you're possessed by the house. The house makes you do evil things. It's not necessarily Jack Torrance's fault at that point, which is an interesting, it shifts the responsibility from the character to the demons of the house, which is interesting. I don't think one way is better or worse, but it is, it doesn't make him own his evil.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think also one of the big endings, obviously the big difference is in the book, it's topiary animals. There is no maze. They have these creature, these an elephant, a tiger, and in the end they come alive and attack people. And then of course Jack Torrance, in a moment of clarity, is it him or is it Wendy who blows up the Overlook? I can't remember right now.
I think.
I think it's him.
Yeah, I think he goes down to the basement and blows it up, and that's how it ends. But that's not how they do it in the movie. And in The Shining, the miniseries, they were strictly to the book. Stephen King wrote the miniseries himself. Mick Garris directed it, he did some of my favorite Friday the 13th films. I just think it lacks the scope, maybe, of the original.
It's not the visual spectacle,
right,
that the Stanley Kubrick is. Again, you don't get the carpet, you don't get the maze, you don't get like the beautiful, colorful kind of decor and scenic shots. It's very much straight to the point. Like you said, Stephen King adapted it himself. It's very identical to the novel. So again, you don't kind of get that stylistic view that Stanley Kubrick added to it. It's very much 90s made for TV movie.
Oh man.
It is. I'm like, wow, this is like blast from the past watching it. Oh
I was
yeah,
I was getting flashback to the 90s Lifetime original film.
it really gave that. Hey,
It does have. Oh, and the CGI, the bad CGI is always like, it's cringy. I always get a little bit of a when I see that at the very beginning. There's a hose that
The
comes off the
hose.
wall, and I'm always like, um, but they did it, and it sort of redeems the. It was a redemption for Stephen King in his eyes because he notoriously hated the Stanley Kubrick version because it was strayed too far. But what a weird place to be. One of the best horror films ever based on your work, and you're like, boo. But I get it. I get it. If somebody takes your work and makes it a completely different thing, I'd be ticked off too. But it's almost would make me more frustrated that it's so damn good. It's like this is the better version of what I did.
It's a fan favorite compared to the miniseries.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, what can
I
you
would
do?
say with the Kubrick film, it's definitely because Kubrick did take a lot of that kind of paranormal element out of it. And you're watching it. If you just watch it as like a thing you're thinking, it's more along the lines of kind of a man losing his mind, descending into madness.
Yeah.
So it's more of a psychological horror, where the miniseries and the book, it's a ghost story, you know?
Yeah.
Straight up haunted house. Yeah. Couple more interesting things. The stage, when they built the stage for the Overlook, it was so big. It's the same set that later they used for Return of the Jedi for Endor. So that was the Ewok village in Endor was shot on the same stage of Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, which I always love that. When years later, Stephen King was still being haunted by the ghosts of his book. He wanted to write a sequel, and so he set out and made Dr. Sleep, which was a redemption story for Danny, because he felt like he never got to truly tackle the legacy of alcoholism that he had gone through, that he wrote The Shining mostly about. It is a parable for alcoholism and addiction, and he felt like he never got to see that full circle, and that how it also goes to your kids. Children of alcoholics often suffer from alcoholism. And so he wrote this book, Dr. Sleep. It comes out in 2013. And then, of course, they made a movie in 2019. And it's such an interesting place to go. And the book and the film are pretty close, but the film has this horrible task of merging The Shining, the film, and The Shining, the book, and making them become a cohesive story. And King even acknowledges, he said, if you don't do that right, if you just focus on my book, Dr. Sleep, and you don't acknowledge what the movie is, you will not succeed in making this film. And so Mike Flanagan had this crazy task, and he tries to pull it off, and I think he did. What do you think, Jenna? Did he pull it off? Did Dr. Sleep work for you?
Oh, I loved it. It was really... Am I biased? I don't know. I thought it was amazing. I think even if you didn't watch The Shining, it really told the story really well.
Yeah.
It just was so good. It was really nice to see like Danny's life and introducing like new characters into it. It worked really well.
Really,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
I love that for most of it, it is not a Shining movie. It's its own, standing on its own legs. It's a character from The Shining with great flashbacks, and then it's not till the third act where it's like, let's go back to the Overlook, because as an audience member, by the time he makes that decision, you are so ready for it to happen, and it really draws you into that emotional space by the time you get there. The whole time earlier, like the stuff with Addie the Hat, is that her name?
Rose the Hat.
Rose the Hat. Yeah. What a fascinating character. Incredible performances. Horrifying stuff. I mean, they torture and soul devour a child, which is gnarly. I really thought that was an interesting ad and a really cool way to explore the idea of Shining and these psychic powers that he has, and then bringing it full circle. Big differences, though. There's still a big difference. Danny in the book does not end up the same way that Danny in the movie does. And I think the movie does a good job of just a really good job of making that character go full circle and ends up blowing up the Overlook just like they did in the original book, which is cool.
Should we do a spoiler alert here, Aaron?
Yeah, we can do a little bit of a spoiler alert.
It's been out long enough.
Yeah, I mean,
that's 6 years.
Yeah,
yeah, because basically, I think Mike Flanagan does a great job bridging the gap, trying to appease Stephen King and the fans of the novel and the fans of the 1980 film. And again, all of it was done through the approval of Stephen King. Again, the ending of Dr. Sleep, a lot different in the book than it is in the film. And the, again, spoiler alert, as we have down there, the ending of the book, Danny lives. And of course, the Overlook Hotel isn't there. Of course, it burns down at the end of the book, but it's the Shining book, but in the Dr. Sleep movie, of course, because that's also a sequel to the Stanley Kubrick film, it's still there. So the ending of Dr. Sleep, the film, is basically the ending of the novel to the original Shining, except it's Danny sacrificing himself and burning down the hotel. I like the ending. I actually kind of prefer the ending of the film better, because again, it kind of adds that emotional weight as opposed to, they just lived, happy ending. It kind of adds some emotional weight to the film.
And it feels final, especially when you're destroying the Overlook Hotel in the process. A movie that I was shockingly surprised by how good it was a movie called Ready Player One. It's a Steven Spielberg film based on the book Ready Player One. The book is not my favorite. It's fine, but it's one of those books that you're like, they're like, oh no, is the main character gonna win? And you're like, yeah, obviously there's 100 pages left. Obviously he's good. Like, you just never feel that the stakes are real, which is such a bizarre thing. But the movie, when you read it, it's about a Matrix world, Matrix style world where everybody's plugged into this universe, and they're competing to take over this meta world. Steven Spielberg gets the rights to it, and it is so packed full with imagery and references. And something that's in the movie that's not in the book is they go into The Shining, the movie, to look for this secret. It's called an egg, but let's say it's a key. And it's amazing because they go in there and it has the blood elevators. It's got room 237. It has they go into the ballroom and all the ghosts and skeletons are in there. And it is such an amazing reference to The Shining, and done with so much love from Steven Spielberg to that film, that I was in cinema heaven at that point. I was like, what? They're going to The Shining? No freaking way. Holy cow, the elevators of blood. If you haven't seen that movie, it is packed full of great imagery. One of my favorite moments is the final battle. And it's the Iron Giant, Godzilla, some mechs from Gundam, the DeLorean from Back to the Future with a Ghostbuster symbol stamped on the side. At one point, somebody used Chucky as a grenade, and it is they throw Chucky at one of the bad guys, and the bad guy goes, "Oh, it's fucking Chucky!" And it's the only time that Steven Spielberg had an F-bomb in a PG-13 film. I was like, that's so great. That is so great. The Hulk and Freddy Krueger fight, I kid you not, only Steven Spielberg could get this much IP jammed into a movie with the blessing of all these different companies. If you haven't seen Ready Player One, I highly recommend it.
You have to see it. It's such a good movie. And I totally forgot that was even in there. I got to watch it again. But
right? Yeah, The Shining.
It was a really good movie.
Such a great scene to have The Shining in there. And the blood elevators, I just read, because I'm pulling up lists of things. They reset, cleaned up, and reshot the elevator scene 3 times.
Only 3.
Yeah, even the miniature blood pour did not get away from Kubrick's it wasn't good enough. Let's run it again.
My gosh.
How do you direct, blood? I think he just wanted to see it move in a way that he just needed it to happen again and again and again and again. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's so cool.
When it comes to properties that you do for your clothing line, and you've done Chucky, you've done The Shining. What do you have one in the future that you're excited about, or is there one that's like, man, if I could do that, like a dream project, what kind of thing would you have?
I do. It's just getting a hold of these guys. It's so hard. It's so difficult. And I have commissioned my tattoo artist to make the imagery for my I'm not a huge artist, so
Mhm.
I get people to do it. But I would love the Terrifier. Would
Oh,
love it. I do have like a little mock-up of what I want to do, but that's one that I saw and I'm like, I need it. He's just so creepy. The movie is so realistic. Even like the storyline, I'm like, that could happen in real life. Where some slashers, I'm like, no, like that's so fake and so fun. But no, his movies are incredible and they're really catching on and gaining momentum. Like he even has in Halloween Horror Nights and Universal a house coming out, like haunted house. So
Sick.
yeah,
yeah.
I'm in Canada. I'm not going to be there for for it. I don't know if you guys are closer to to Universal Studios, but yeah, I wish I could go this year. It looks and sounds really cool.
I used to go every year when I lived in LA, and it was the best. I mean, they're so fun. It's interesting because it's like they're such polished, um, polishedly, like the way they're built is really polished. It's just too crowded, so you have to be like very strategic about how you show up because you don't want to be stuck in like just like a conveyor belt of humans and miss the scares. Like you like to be there where it's like you and your small group of people and there's like space in front of you to experience the scares. So I always tell people, like, should I go? It's like you should absolutely go, but you need to be there. And the trick is you run to the farthest haunted house first, like run to the farthest haunted house first. And the farthest haunted house at Universal Studios is really far away. You got to go down 7 escalators, run a mile, and you run to the farthest point possible and then work your way back because everybody who's coming in is going first haunted house, second haunted. I go to the 10th haunted house and work my way backwards because by the time you get to the first one, everybody is already deeper into the park. And that's my tip to haunted housing.
That's so
at
smart.
Universal.
And those elevators are huge. Like if you've never been,
Yeah, they're so steep, and you're just
oh
like,
my
oh yeah, I love it. Yeah, we would go every year, and they've always been cool. I'm really excited about them. So yeah,
God,
Terrifier would be
so
sick.
jealous.
So, Jenna, I know you said you're in Canada. Of course, Canada has, a lot of people don't know, a very rich history when it comes to the horror genre. You have Black Christmas, you have Prom Night, you have Ginger Snaps. A lot of these great 80s slashers were Canadian films. David Cronenberg, a lot of his films. Is there like any specific like Canadian like horror film that you would like to do a clothing line inspired by?
Um, I I would have to look into it a bit more because
Right.
obviously this one is so iconic and so recognizable. It's not as niche as maybe like Ginger Snaps. One of my really good customers, she really wants me to watch that, so I'm gonna have to watch
So
it and
good.
maybe come up with something for her.
It's a great It's a great werewolf story, and its sequels aren't bad either. The third one probably better than the second one, but yeah, I really like Ginger Snaps is a good one. Um, I recently got to see The Shining on recently, like 3 years ago. I got to see The Shining on 35, and it was at the Plaza Theater in Atlanta, and it was amazing to see. But it was the first time I had ever seen a bunch of young people found Jack Nicholson's performance a little over the top, and they started cracking up because he's
Oh,
like, give me the bat, Wendy," and they started laughing. And it was the first. It honestly was the first time I ever saw that he was like a Muppet in a sea of real human beings. If the whole movie, Wendy, the kid, Scatman Crothers, they're real people, and Jack Torrance is acting so over the top. It was the first time I had ever seen that movie, and it suddenly was funny instead of scary because people, every time he showed up on screen, like the younger audience started cracking up, and it was like it was such a bizarre thing because it when you look at it from a different lens, he's really overdoing it, and everybody else is reacting appropriately to how horrific it is.
I think
so weird.
I think I have an idea why.
Yeah.
Because when I first watched it, like Jack Nicholson, I mean, he still scares the shit out of me in that film, but there are some parts that are comedic, and a big part of it, and I don't know if it's the same thing with younger viewers, but in 2012, South Park did a parody episode. I don't know if either one of you has seen this.
I don't think I've seen it.
Okay. Called A Nightmare on FaceTime, where a lot of it was a big parody of The Shining. Of course, in 2012 was when Blockbuster and video rental stores and physical film media really started dying. That's when digital really started taking over. Streaming started taking over. So Randy, Stan's dad, bought a Blockbuster, and basically a lot of it was the Blockbuster was empty, and Randy started recreating a lot of Jack Torrance's mannerisms and lines.
That's
Especially
amazing.
The scene where Jack Nicholson, as Jack Torrance is walking down, going to the Gold Room, the bar, because he's like, they do
Yeah.
they do that where he's walking down a row of films. It's hilarious.
I need to watch this.
I actually this is one of the things I rewatched for this episode.
I am gonna have to as Vampire Renee says, The Simpsons for me. Yeah, 100%, like the Simpsons parody of it. And it's like it never occurred to me that he was so over the top, but like the audience, I don't know. It was the first time I ever saw this movie in a light that wasn't just sheer terror and like reverence to the cinema of it all. And it was bizarre. And like I'm worried about watching it again. And I'm almost sorry to bring it up because now you guys are gonna watch and be like, oh my God, he's like a Muppet. It's like if you had cast him in felt, it would have fit where he's just like, give me the bat. He's just so over the top in a way that is ridiculous, but part of that was why it was so scary. Like people don't behave that way, so him doing it was freaky. But it is funny that he's become a parody of himself in his own right. And I think because Jack Nicholson is the same character in a lot of movies, they're like, act crazy, man, and he's like, all right, I got it. I think maybe in the modern era, even Jack Nicholson is a little bit of a parody of himself when he's in movies, and that has seeped backwards. So yeah, it was a very bizarre outing to go see that and be like super excited to watch this scary movie in 35. And I think just a bunch of people who had never seen it before were not ready for the Jack Nicholson of it all.
Jenna, is there any scene in that film that, again, like Aaron said, there was a lot of people laughing? Is there a scene now that, since you've rewatched the film, that kind of gets like a dark humor kind of chuckle out of you in that film?
Yeah, I actually laughed out loud when they were giving them the tour and they're like, yeah, it's on an Indian burial ground. We had fought off some Native Americans, and I was just like, oh, okay, let's just gloss over that. Like that's pretty big.
It's such a throwaway.
Yeah, I was laughing. I'm like, that's so ridiculous. How did I ever not catch that before? Because I don't think I did. And I'm like, that's actually funny. Like just nonchalantly, just this happened.
See, for me, it's the scene where Wendy and Danny are outside playing, and then they go to the room where Jack Nicholson's like. Like that, me and my partner were watching it this week, and both of us just started cracking.
His facial expressions are so expressive. I can see that.
the part that gets me is all of those, but like when he gets the stern talking to from the original caretaker, like he goes into the men's room of the Overlook, and he's like he spilled whiskey on himself, and the guy's like patting him down, and he's just like in this bathroom talking to this guy. He's like, nah, I'm gonna handle it, man. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking? You talking about killing? What are you talking about, Jack? It's like none of this is weird to you. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna. We don't need I don't need help. I got this. And they're like, make sure that you do. It's like when your principal brings you into the office and be like, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. You're better than this. And you're like, yeah, I know. I can kill my family better than this. I'm doing a terrible job at killing my family. It's just like, he's so upset, and it's just such a bizarre scenario. And it's the moment that I'm just like, oh, you're off it, man. You are completely on a different planet. And I just it's so funny. It's not funny at all. It's so totally dark and scary, but it does crack you up.
Oh no, it's awesome. But yeah, like to piggyback off that kid, my daughter's going on 11. She laughed at Child's Play, and I'm like, who are you? Like, I was traumatized from watching that. But I mean, I'm glad because she's not sleeping in my bed. Like, I was with my sister. But I'm just like, what is wrong with these kids today? Like, that stuff, it was scary, especially at that age.
I just started doing, my kid was like, I want you to tell me a story for bedtime. I was like, all right, what do you want to hear? And she's like, I want to do scary story. I was like, okay. So we started doing scary stories at bedtime, trying to remember them off the top of my head, which is always an adventure and probably ill-advised. But, you know, winging it with a child, they don't care. She loves like the girl with the green ribbon. You know, it's a classic haunted story. Girl has a green ribbon around her neck. And then when she's old and she dies, her husband pulls the green ribbon off and her head falls off. She loves that story. She also has become very fond of me telling the story of Alien from the cat's point of view. I was just like, what movies do I know forwards and backwards? And so I just started telling her the Alien, and she loves it. And I realized she's going to watch Alien one day and be like, oh, whoa, that's Jones the cat. That's the Jones the cat story. That's the Jonesy story. She's going to know that all already and not be scared. And I'm like, man, I'm already ruining horror movies for her. She's not going to be scared at all. She's going to be like, I love this story. This is classic.
That's
now,
awesome.
Now, Jenna, what was the first horror movie introduced to your child?
Killer Clowns.
Oh, good one.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I love that one. I have their masks on my wall back there. It's so good. I mean, it's scary because I met some of the killer clowns when they came to Calgary. They're huge. Like, they are tall men, and to see like them all dressed up as clowns, like that would be frightening if they were just walking down the street.
Yeah.
So I just love that movie. It's so cool. It's so out there. But yeah, we watched that one together and she loved it. She was hooked immediately.
Great. Oh, that's awesome. It's always funny because you're like, I don't want to scare my kid to the point that, like you said, they're not ending up in your bed. We did Gremlins, and she loved Gremlins.
Oh,
which is great.
Who doesn't love Gremlins? They're so cute.
So fun, right? But then she loved Gremlins 2, which I was like, I'm okay with that. It's funny. It's grown on me, which is funny because when I first saw Gremlins 2, I was like, this movie's terrible. I don't like funny versions of things that I like. But then you watch Gremlins 1, you're like, it's equally goofy. They just compress the goofy into a raw concentrate of ridiculousness, and she loves Gremlins 2.
It's kind of like Megan 2.0. Like I mentioned you after I saw it. It's the same thing. Like I loved Megan 2.0. It's just a goofier, sillier version of the first one.
See, it doesn't have to be bad. It just depends on what mind state you're in. And if you're like not ready for them to do that to the franchise, and you're like, what are you doing? Or you're like, they do that all the time. Yeah, Gremlins 2, Halloween 3, Megan 2.0. It's all of the same ilk. So as we get into the end, I want to ask you about like some of your other favorite horror films, Jenna. Obviously, The Shining is a crown jewel. You mentioned you love Chucky. What other either franchises or single films, what other horror really grabs you?
My top would be The Conjuring. I love paranormal horror. Or supernatural horror. It's such a good movie, and every time I watch it, I get goosebumps.
Sick.
It's just so well made. It's so scary. I like really believe in that though, like ghosts and the beyond. So just to watch it unfold and just how they did it, I'm just hooked every time. I'm sure my
That's-
husband is tired of the movie, but
It's awesome.
every time I see something new, it's just so creepy.
As a believer in the paranormal, and you don't have to answer this question, have you ever seen a ghost?
Yes, but I also work at the hospital, so
Ghosts all the time. Of
uh,
course.
I walk by and I see somebody who is not in the room, and it catches me every time. My coworkers hate me because I'll be like, "Did you see somebody in that room?"
Like,
There's
stop
no
it.
patients in there, and they're like, "Shush, don't say anything," because I'm heading home at 11 p.m. and they're there till 7 in the morning with whatever is there. But
Oh my gosh. See?
yeah, it's creepy. It's
Uh,
real.
I mean, it's so funny because an actress I recently worked with, Megan Fahey, congrats on the Emmy nom. I'm sure she's listening. The first thing she ever asked me when I met her, she goes, "Have you ever seen a ghost?" And I was like, "That's a hell of an icebreaker." And she goes, "Well, I either get a great story or I know you're boring." I was like, "Oh God."
That's awesome. I'm gonna steal that.
It's a great icebreaker because it tells you a lot. Either they're going to be like, "I don't believe in that stuff," and you're like, "All right, fine," or you're going to get a great story out of people. And I think that is a really fun, it's a really fun icebreaker.
By the way, Megan Fahey was phenomenal in that film Drop that came out earlier this year.
Yeah. She is a great actress. Really, really great. We just finished The Good Daughter, which will be out on Peacock later this year. No ghosts,
fun.
unfortunately, but it is intense. It's got some intense stuff in it. Amazing icebreaker, yes. Have to have an Ed and Lorraine Warren episode for Jenna. Annabelle strikes again. I don't know if you all heard this, but the doll Annabelle has another body added. There was a paranormal investigator who went and visited Annabelle and then died. I don't have all the facts. I don't have all the information yet because I read somewhere where it's like he saw it and then it happened, but then I think in reality he went and saw Annabelle and then like in a different location dropped dead. I don't know. We got to figure that out. But whoa, creepy, terrifying.
Too much of a coincidence for me. Like I would not go
Yeah,
visit Annabelle.
Yeah, regardless of where it happened, too close to a tour of the Warrens museum to have me feeling good about that.
Yes.
It's crazy. So yeah, I think Ed and Lorraine Warren most famously, they're characters in the Conjuring universe, but they are real investigators that the Conjuring is based off of. Annabelle the doll is in their collection of cursed items. Annabelle the doll, notoriously not creepy looking at all. She's just a Raggedy Ann doll.
Raggedy Ann.
Yeah, looks very normal. When they get Billy the puppet, Billy the doll, not related to the Saw franchise, but he's a little sailor doll that's a creepy looking doll. And they also are involved with the Amityville Horror somehow. They try to insinuate themselves. They're very controversial characters, the Warrens. But yeah, to get the Conjuring series out of them is pretty awesome. I do like those movies.
Yeah, they're all so good, and that universe, I guess, there's never ending. Yeah, they're really cool.
One of the handlers. Spooky. Let's get into some plugs. Jenna, what do you have going on? Where can people find your cool stuff? Give your handles, your social media plugs, tell everybody what you got going on.
Sure. On Instagram, you can find me at the Craft Witch YEG. Online on my website, it's www.thecraftwitch.ca, and Facebook, it's The Craft Witch, and I try on any platform just to snag that first at The Craft Witch. You can find me online and on TikTok too. But yeah, I've taken the summer a little bit. I've got a big wholesale order going in. Very exciting. I'm going to be in Dedmonton House. If anyone's watching locally, it's huge in the city of Edmonton. They really piggybacked off the name with Dedmonton. It really describes the city that I'm from. But they're so cool. They have haunted houses. It's kind of like Universal Studios, but they make their own haunted houses, their own theming. They have characters that roam around. They're really cool. So I'll be in the store there starting in September, I think the 26th. But I'm not doing any conventions until October. And unless you're local, you can't find me anywhere else. But I would love to come do a convention in the United States. However, it's quite difficult. I found that I need to get like a business license in whatever state that's hosting it, and I have to pay duty on all my stuff I bring in. So it'll have to be really thought out when I do that. But that's a goal.
Monster Palooza in Pasadena is a highly recommended. Really,
that one
awesome.
Looks so good. I've seen nothing but that on my TikTok, and I want to be there.
That's amazing. It's. I went one year dressed as Freddy Krueger, and it was so fun and such a massive horror convention. It's one of the bigger ones that's purely horror. A lot of pulp culture conventions do multiple. Like Comic-Con or something like that will have horror in a corner, but it's all sorts of different stuff. Monster Palooza is all horror. Monster Palooza covers it, and it's pretty awesome.
That looks so cool. Are you close to that location?
I used to be. No, I'm in Georgia now. I lived in California for 13 years and got to go to cool stuff like that. But then when I moved to Georgia, we just have there is like a horror convention here, but it's not as big or as spectacular as Monster Palooza. But yeah, I go back every now and then to check out something like that. It's always fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it looks like a destination for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess Vampire Renee says we are lacking good horror cons here in Canada, which is a bummer because it's awesome.
Yeah,
horror,
like
horror
I said, the rich Canadian horror history. A lot of great Canadian horror films.
Yeah,
big time.
Might have to make their own horror convention.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I wish you the best with that stuff. Thank you for coming on our show. It was really nice to have you. Really awesome to hear you talk about your products and what you got coming out. And thanks again for talking Shining with us. I hope you come back to we can talk Conjuring. We've never done a Conjuring episode. We could do Conjuring, have you come back, talk Conjuring, tell us what you got going on then. How does that sound?
I'd love it. Yeah, that'd be really awesome.
Hey, just to let you know, the last mainline Conjuring film comes out this September. So if you want to kind of, the last one with Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. So we want to do one around that time.
I like it. That's a great idea. So yeah, let's I gotta catch up. I haven't seen a couple of the later films, but the first three I've always enjoyed. So let's all watch the Conjuring movies, and then when the last one comes out, we can come back and see how we feel about it. Super cool. Chase, tell them what you got going on.
Yeah. First of all, before I do my plugs, thank you so much, Jenna, for coming on. It was awesome talking with you. And Jenna, you did request something of me.
I did. So I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, you're good. This week, Aaron, I told you about it too. Something came in the mail.
Whoa! Yeah.
So Jenna, cool. When I posted it on Instagram, Jenna, you had messaged me like, you have to show that on camera.
You paid enough, I'm sure. You have to show
it. So yeah, we got a matching carpet. You got your shirt. So yeah, we were all shy. But yeah, it was a pleasure having you on. Aaron, last week you had billed this the summer of awesome guests. So yeah, thank you for being one of our awesome guests. And yeah, Conjuring. Hell, if we could ever if we ever want to do Chucky again, I'd love to have you.
I mean, I love the Chucky franchise, and right now it's up in the air whether we're getting another movie or I know that the show is over, but they might. Yeah, he says they're going to do another movie, so excited about that. Awesome. Did I cut you off? Do you have any more things to plug, Chase?
Oh no, just see me here every Saturday on Half Hour Horror with you, Aaron. Follow me on Instagram, Blue Sky, Letterboxd, and X if you want at Oh Hey It's Chase, and TikTok at Oh Hey It's Chase _. And yeah, thank you again, Jenna, for coming on. It was awesome having you on.
Oh, thanks
Super
for
good.
having me. It was great. I'd love to do it again.
Awesome. When we do Conjuring, we'll give you a call. We got to give away some blood coin today. So if you are playing along, go to Discord, open up a ticket at Block of Horror, and put in the word Overlook, and that will get you some blood coin. Overlook for the Overlook Hotel, because we're doing Shining, y'all. If you guys are on the West Coast or you are going to go to San Diego Comic-Con, come see me Friday. I am doing 2 panels. Both of them at San Diego Comic-Con. I love doing big panels. The first one is at like 5 p.m. in the library across the street from the con, and I'm doing the Blasters and Broadswords bracket, where me and my podcast host Matt from the Launchpad podcast, we are going to decide what is the best weapon in pop culture. So we're going to do a March Madness style bracket, and we're going to figure out what the best weapon is. And then at 9 p.m. we have probably one of the hottest tickets in town. It is the Ghostface Killer Trivia. Ghostface himself calls in and does horror trivia, and we give out prizes. We've been doing it 3 years now, and it is one of my favorite shows that we do, and it's so fun. So yeah, check us out if you are in San Diego Comic-Con. And then of course, so we will not be doing a show next Saturday because I will be gone, but the Saturday after that, we'll be back doing stuff for the Block of Horror, obviously all things Block of Horror, and then follow me. I'm McLean and Abel on Instagram, and then Launchpad Pod on everything else. So till next week, guys, this has been a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Check you next time.